Um, I'd like to invite now, of course, Shri Rajeev Gupta, but before I do so, sir, we would like to, of course, present to you. We have Meenakshi Sharma of Delhi from Sri Ramchandra Mission, presenting to Shri Rajeev Gupta some of our beautiful literature. And we have Pramod from Hyderabad, who is part of NSS, presenting it to Shri Gokula Krishnan, Regional Director, NSS. We also have Mr. Rao, sorry. And we also have Meenakshi and Pramod, could you come along, presenting a very interesting book that we have as one of the main foundations of our literature, which is called Reality at Dawn, to be handed to all our guests who have come such a long way and who are with us today. So if you could please honor our guests. Now we get on to the main part of our program. Sir, if you would kindly address our youth. Thank you so much, sir.
Dignitaries on the dais, our colleagues from Ministry of Youth Affairs and Sports, our dear friends from India and abroad, I stand before you in two capacities. One as the Secretary to Government of India, dealing with youth affairs, and secondly, a sadhak like you, who had the privilege of being blessed by Babuji in the year 1980 up to the year 83. I had the privilege of meeting him, sitting with him, and having sittings from him. I, on this occasion, must thank Sri Ramchandra Mission for giving our youth, that is youth of NSS and NYKS, the opportunity of interacting with their overseas counterparts from 34 countries and also learning the system of meditation and practicing yoga here. We feel that yoga is very important for everybody, much more so for the youth. And I have coined a phrase for this: yoga is an abbreviation for youth organized to go ahead. Yoga means addition, integration, assimilation. So what is yoga? I mean, you all know yoga, so I don't need to say much about it, but still I like to reiterate that yoga actually is encompassing one's official life, personal life, and even past life and future life. So yoga is overall development of one's personality, one's faculties, and it's not only a way of life, it is the essence of life. I pray to my Gurudev, Shri Devraha Baba. I pray to Babuji, Shri Ramchandra Ji Maharaj. I pray to all the great masters of the world to guide my words so that whatever I speak gives you inspiration and also some more knowledge. Though you must be learning a lot, not only in this session here, but since you have been practicing meditation for the past quite some time. But I'd like to say that yoga is ultimately the pursuit of God, the pursuit of knowledge, the pursuit of excellence in everything. What is God? Actually, God is the source of all creation. And all, as you must be knowing that, and you must be believing also and realizing also, that we are not mere physical bodies. We are not here that we come into this life and then pass away after 80, 100 years. We are eternal beings. We were there much before, right since, and there's no time of creation, because even the universes end and they come up again. So there's no initial time of creation. Similarly, there's no end time. We are eternal beings, and essentially we are one and the same. Actually, all existence is just one, and in this existence, it is Maya. We call, in our scriptures, we call it Maya. You can term it as illusion or delusion, which is also as per the will of the God. God himself created Maya so that multiplicity can be observed and people see them as different beings. Just as you see, if you have 1,000 pitchers, each filled with water, and then you have placed them under the sun, and the sun's reflection will be in every pitcher, and every pitcher, the sun inside the pitcher is just the reflection of the main sun, but every pitcher would think that he is an independent entity. Similarly, we all are reflections or rather parts of the same single entity, which is God, which is existence, which is the being, and our supreme goal of life should be to go back to our origin, to go back to our source, and this is possible through yoga. Yoga is meditation. Yoga is also physical yoga. Yoga is also karma yoga. Yoga is also jnana yoga. Actually, everything that we do is yoga. If we do it with concentration, if we do it with good attitude, with proper urge to benefit others, and when we benefit others also, actually we are doing a service to the God that exists in others. So whatever we do for others is yoga, whatever we do for our own upliftment is yoga, and whatever we do for our own selfish motives is what ties us down, which drags us down, and that is the effect of Maya. So meditation is the means, is a great means to go back to our original state, and as we saw in the presentation about the EEG, that the mind becomes calm, the delta waves then start appearing, and all this is natural, because as you progress, there will be many more things that happen. Our saints and seers have had such great memory that, and there have been people who have been not only 100 years old, they have many 100 years old, they have lived, and they have had better physique, better mental capabilities, better spiritual potential than any of us here. So, and secondly, when the great masters leave, they just shed the body, the physical body, but they remain as it is, and since they have decided to guide us, guide their followers for all time, they continue working for us. Like in your system, Babuji is working for all those who meditate, and he gives the transmission that is received by everybody. So everybody should avail of such opportunities where we can enlighten ourselves, enlighten our lives. We can, when you say you enlighten yourself, you become light also. You become, the worldly things tie you down. They bring heaviness in your body, in your physique, in your mind. They make you tired. But when you start getting enlightened, you start getting elevated. Even, in terms of cheerfulness, in terms of better blood circulation, in terms of better glow on your face, better calmness in your personality, better serenity in your behavior, everything improves. And of course, this will have the corresponding psychosomatic effects also. All factors would correspondingly change. All measurements, be it of the blood tests, be it of the neurological tests, everything would show an improvement. It is just a natural corollary of our advancement in our advancement towards God, towards meditation, towards peace, towards calmness. So our dear young friends, I sincerely believe and hope that you will be the messengers of yoga. Yoga is not the ancient science. Yoga is the most modern science also. Yoga is integrating the entire world together, the entire universe together. Our Mr. Tuteja, Director NSS, talked to you yesterday. He must have told you about community service. Now this community service that one does is Kriya Yoga, is Karma Yoga. Karma Yoga, many of you must have studied Gita. And in Gita, Lord Krishna tells Arjun that even if he has to kill his relatives, he should do it because that is his duty. And he should do it without attachment. Similarly, when we do selfless service, we do it without attachment. Selfless service is for the benefit of others. And selfless service is the fountainhead of all morality, all values, all virtues. Selfless service would also elevate you. It will connect you to a bigger existence, just as we were told about attitude. Look, a person who is confined to himself is considered to be a mean person, a narrow-minded person. The next expansion of the person comes when he identifies himself with his family. The further expansion comes when he identifies himself with his community. Then he identifies himself with the world, and ultimately he identifies himself with the entire universe, with the entire creation. So that is the real expansion, and that is the merger into Godhood, and that is the real attainment of the supreme state. So this can be done by selfless service also. This is also done by devotion. And devotion you must have. Even if you are having meditation, devotion is of utmost requirement. And devotion to whom? Devotion to God, devotion to Guru, devotion to the system in which you are working. In whatever system you are following, be fully devoted, be fully committed, and that devotion will take you to greater heights. Let me tell you, there's a couplet which says in our scriptures, Guru Govind dono khade. I'll translate that also. Kaake lagu paye, बलिहारी गुरु आपकी जिन गोविंद ये बताए. रहीमन तेनर अंध है जो गुरु को कहते और हरि रूठे गुरु ठौर है, गुरु रूठे नहीं ठौर. So I mean the Guru is given a higher position than the God himself, because Guru leads us to God. So if God is annoyed, the Guru will take care of that. But if Guru is annoyed, there is nobody to take care of us. So Guru has to be revered to that extent. He is even higher than God. And as, see, all great masters are manifestations of Guru Tattva in different bodies. When we say Guru, Guru cannot be a simple body. I mean, one who is so big, one who is leading us to God, cannot be just a mere body. So it is the Guru Tattva. Actually, it is God himself who, through his blessing to the humanity, appears in different forms, and that basic feature of Guru of God is known as Guru Tattva, and Guru Tattva manifested in different bodies become different enlightened masters, which lead people from darkness to light, from falsehood to truth, and from death to eternal life. So with the blessings of great Gurus and all the participants who have come here, they are already into the system of heartfulness meditation. Our young volunteers of National Services Scheme who are doing community service, our National Youth Corps volunteers who are working with Nehru Yuva Kendra Sangathan, I would urge upon them to learn the yogic practices here so that they become much more efficient in their working, and they can spread the message around. They can spread yoga around, and what I demand from our youth, that our youth should be living examples of yoga. They should actually radiate peace and happiness. They should radiate the message of yoga, and they should involve the entire community into yoga. Our youth would definitely do that. The youth from overseas will also do that. And the other benefit that our youth can derive from their participation in this camp is that they can also make friends with them. They can have interpersonal relationships also, which they can continue in future also. But the main objective of any spiritual practice is not only to benefit one's own self, but to benefit the entire community. So if our other practitioners of yoga also follow this, that whatever they are learning here, they will also apply it to the community, they will spread this message, they will also do selfless service to some extent possible. To whatever extent possible, if they do it, definitely they will be more enlightened and they will be more elevated. And I hope they will do that, and all the people of this world will very soon, right now we have a big onslaught of Maya, a heavy onslaught of materialism. There is so much on internet, there's so much on information flowing, there are trillions of websites, everybody carrying so many messages, and then you have Facebook, you have the Twitter, you have the social media. I mean, hours you spend on the mobile, hours you spend on the iPad or the laptop. But if you divert that attention to meditation, to your self-culture, basically you are cultivating yourself, so this will improve your faculties also. Now, all faculties may not be physically measurable. Probably we cannot measure intuition now. Probably we cannot measure, foresightedness. But all this comes with the practice of yoga. I have seen great saints, they can predict things which are going to happen hundreds of years later, even thousands of years later, but even ordinary people with some practice of meditation, some practice of yoga, can foresee things. They can foresee if some problem is going to come to their lives or to their families' lives. They can also help others by cautioning them, by guiding them properly, and whenever you have good attitudes, you will always be able to pass through. And with the blessing of a great guru, it is said कि जब गुरु की कृपा होती है, I'll translate that also, जब गुरु की कृपा होती है तो जहाँ फांसी लगनी होती है वहाँ कांटा चुभ कर रह जाता है. When the great masters is blessing on you, if you are going to be hanged, you can just escape that by just having a prick of a thorn. So I mean the hanging sentence is converted into the pain of just a prick of a thorn. So that is the difference that the guru, that your good deeds, your meditation, your practice of yoga can make in your life. I'll also like to give another example of a good friend of mine. I'll tell you about the community service, selfless service also, and a very good example I'll quote. Now he is now a retired police officer, a senior IPS officer, Indian Police Service officer. So he has also killed many dacoits. He has been given President's Police Medal for Gallantry, which is the highest police award also. And he, out of charity, and which was not his official work, when he was posted in Lucknow, then he saw that many mentally deranged persons are roaming on the streets. There's nobody to take care of them. Nobody knows their whereabouts also. So then, with the help of his colleagues and by raising some money and putting some of his own money also, then he started getting them treated. So around 150 such mentally deranged persons were treated, then their families were traced and they were repatriated to their families. So one such person's father, when he came to his house, this father of that boy banged his forehead on his doorstep and said, with tears flowing down from his eyes, he said, how would an angel be otherwise? Or farishta kaisa hoga? How would an angel be otherwise? Now that was the happiest moment of this police officer's life. The happiest moment was not when he got the President's Police Medal for Gallantry, but when he heard these words. When he heard these words from one who was gratitude personified. When he said, look, you are an angel, or farishta kaisa, how an angel be otherwise? So, I mean, that pleasure, that bliss that you get by doing selfless service to others is unmeasurable, and this is as elevating as any other practice of yoga. So, do all practices, do karma yoga through selfless service to others, do meditation. This is Raj Yoga, and similarly have lot of love for others, love for the Guru, love for the entire creation of God, and so this can be termed as simply as serve, love, meditate, and realize. So this is the 4 steps to God realization. Serve, love, meditate, and realize. And everybody has to adopt all 4 as per his situation in life. If he is too busy, maybe he may not be able to do with his official work, he may not be able to do so much service, but whatever he can, in whatever small way he can. The small way could be even, putting water for the birds, giving bread to the dogs, or helping cows, whatever way is possible, help God's creation, and that peace, that solace, that bliss you get is the direct benefit, and the indirect benefit is the blessings of those animals or those others which are not measurable still by science, but they are definitely there. They are very much there, and much more forceful also, much more forceful than the forces that we see. The science as such has not really gone too far. Science has only touched a very small aspect of human life. We cannot even create a leaf today. We can't even create a flower today, an artificial leaf. How so much we can invest on that will not be equal to a real leaf. Similarly, we cannot create intelligence today. Even with thousands of crores of investment, the intelligence in a computer would not be that of a small child. So, all that which comes from God is much more valuable, much greater, and all that can be only realized, can be known through the practice of yoga, our addition to the Supreme Being, and we have to progress that. And as Swami Vivekananda said, each soul is potentially divine. The goal is to manifest this divinity within. Do this by work or worship or psychic control or philosophy, by one or more or all of these. This is the whole religion. Doctrines or dogmas or rituals or books or temples or forms are but secondary details. So with that spirit, you should tread the path towards Godhood, tread the path towards spirituality, tread the path towards your own development, tread the path towards everybody's development. I hope the youth of the world will create a different world tomorrow, and in that world there will not be so many strifes as we see today. There will not be so many sects, there will not be so many fights, and everybody will live harmoniously in a peaceful manner, in an enlightened manner. There will be much more growth of science and religion, which go together. And religion is not practicing of rituals. Religion is real spirituality. That is religion, and which will ultimately overtake the world. And in that, yoga will be the biggest unifying force and the biggest leader, and our youth will really take the world to those heights. With these words, I wish the seminar a grand success, this 5-day yoga course. And I think I should have done that first, but in the last at least, let me all welcome you here on behalf of the Government of India. We have partnered here with the Ramchandra Mission so that our international friends, our Indian youth, they all practice yoga and make a better world for tomorrow. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. I am very happy because in spite of the sweltering heat, you were able to really pay attention. That is so amazing. I'm so happy. I also thank sir for coming, and much of what he said is something that we know, we find in our books, isn't it? You relate to it, isn't it? Yeah? It's not as if you heard something new. But so what is very impressive is that being in such a position in the government and you bringing us this message sounds like a message from home and yet endears us to the government, because we feel that if people like you are heading the government, then yoga certainly will get places. So thank you so much for being there with us today. And I am so glad, I'm happy that you're here. Would you please also join us for meditation later on? For those of you, he mentioned it in the beginning, but for those of you who didn't catch it, if you have a few questions, he could take them too. And just to remind you that Sir, in 1976, took his first introductory sittings from Babuji Maharaj. 1980, sorry, I got that wrong, 1980. So there is an association that started there, and it is very wonderful that he's back with us today here again. And if you have questions, anybody here would like to ask a couple of questions? Anything that you'd like to inquire? Any interaction here? Yes? You have a question, Gaurav? Yes? So Gaurav is asking you, how was your first sitting with Babuji?
Okay. See, I was posted to Shahjahanpur. I was still under training. We have a 2 years training before getting regularly into the service. So I was posted as assistant collector and magistrate under training to district Shahjahanpur. When I was leaving from the Mussoorie Academy, where we have the initial training, one of our teachers, he was Professor B.N. Rao. He was a district judge in Andhra Pradesh earlier, who was posted there to teach us law. So he told me that you are lucky you are going to Shahjahanpur, and you must meet my Guruji, Sri Ramchandra Maharaj. He told me about him. So when I came to the district, then I told my people, so since I was an officer in the district, so I was received very well by Babuji's family. So his son, Mr. Prakash, was the district government council in Shahjahanpur. So he then took me to Babuji, and when I met him, Babuji's, I went to his house. The house was very simple, and Babuji was the height of simplicity. I must say that his simplicity was far greater than all sophistication. And one could feel when he was sitting on a cot, and I sat on the ground by his side. Not that I asked him for the sitting. So I felt my thoughts, they became Godward automatically. Not that he told me something or I told him something. I started thinking of God and all. So then he asked me, would you like to have a sitting? I said, yes, why not? So then when he gave me the sitting, I asked him, where should I meditate? He said, no, you just sit like that. You see, with the great master, you don't have to follow a system. The master can do everything. So then I might tell you that I saw a light circulating here. And then after some time, when the meditation was over, Babuji said, "Bahut shanti hai, bahut shanti hai." Then every 1 or 2 months I used to meet him. Once or twice I accompanied him to the ashram also in Shahjahanpur. We sat there also. I attended the Basant Panchami function 1981 also. Lastly, then twice after I had been transferred from the district, then in 1982, when I heard that Babuji has been hospitalized in AIIMS, then I had gone to AIIMS to see him. And it was more of selfish motive of mine. I had gone to ask him a question. So when I went to the private wards where he was there, incidentally nobody stopped me. Nobody asked me about who I was. I just could get into the room where he was, and in the room he was all alone. And he was with his eyes closed, and a number of tubes were put into his nostrils and mouth and all. And when I reached there, so he was, I'll not say unconscious because he was super conscious, but I'll tell you what I saw. He was lying on his head was on one side. So then he gradually turned his head, then he made it straight. The eyes were still closed. But I could see a very big astral eye inside his face from here to here, which was open. And that eye was watching me. Then he turned the face on the other side, and then I touched his feet and came out, because I couldn't talk to him. But I got the answer to the question in the night, in the dreams. So, then I got married in 1982 December, and again after marriage, he was still in the AIIMS, he was being discharged from there. So before that, I had his darshan with my wife, and that was all. But as I said in my talk also, I mean, they only leave their bodies, they are still there, and they are capable of interacting with us. Everybody is there. Everybody after leaving body, nobody dies. And actually, as per our past karma, as our sanskars, we get some other births. Liberated souls don't have rebirths, and they can either merge with God perfectly, or they keep a small gap so that they can guide the humanity. So they are there and they are working, that's it.
Maybe some of you are wondering, because he spoke about his experience with Babuji Maharaj, and the question that Gaurav asked him was, I'll say it in Hindi, आपका experience कैसा था जो पहली sitting आपने बाबूजी से ली थी? और सर ने ये बताया कि जो मैं पहली बार बाबूजी के पास गया था, तो मेडिटेशन किया भी नहीं था कि ऑलरेडी गॉडली थॉट्स आने लगे, और कंडीशन ऐसी हो गई कि मुझे पता भी नहीं चला कि ये कैसे हो सकता है. फिर बाबूजी के पास जब बैठे, बाबूजी ने बोला अगर आप चाहते हैं तो मैं आपको सिटिंग देता हूँ. तो इन्होंने कहा हाँ, कैसे मेडिटेशन करना है? बाबूजी ने कहा कुछ नहीं करना है, आप बस बैठे रहिए, हम काम करेंगे. और फिर मेडिटेशन के बाद उनको काफ़ी एक्सपीरियंस भी हुआ, और जैसे फॉरहेड पे उनको लाइट का प्रेजेंस महसूस हुआ. फिर जाके आगे उन्होंने 2-3 बार बाबूजी से मिले भी थे. एक बार एम्स हॉस्पिटल, हाँ वो तो 8-10 बार मिले हुए हैं. शाहजहानपुर में इनकी पहली पोस्टिंग हुई थी, और फिर जब बाबूजी महाराज एम्स हॉस्पिटल में ही वॉज हॉस्पिटलाइज, तब जब उनको मिले तब इन्होंने चाहा कि बाबूजी को जाके एक बार मिल लूँ. और वो एक क्वेश्चन लेके गए थे, और बाबूजी वहाँ पे हॉस्पिटल में थे. और आश्चर्य की बात ये थी कि जब ये अंदर गए तब वहाँ पे कोई नहीं था इनको रोकने के लिए, और बाबूजी पूरी अकेले बैठे थे रूम में. उनके नॉस्ट्रल्स और सब में ट्यूब्स लगे हुए थे, उनकी हालत वैसे भी हॉस्पिटलाइज थे, तो आंखें भी उनकी बंद थी. और ये जो एक्सपीरियंस उनको हुआ, जैसे जब गए बाबूजी के पास, बाबूजी ने सिर्फ मुंह यहाँ से यहाँ तक फेरा और आंखें बंद ही थी, और जैसे एक बड़ी आंख पूरी फॉरहेड में उनको दिखी, और बाबूजी के फॉरहेड में इनके एक्सपीरियंस था. और जब उन्होंने वापस यहाँ से यहाँ मुंह मोड़ा, फिर बस इन्होंने पैर छुए और चले गए राजीव जी. और जब आंसर तो उनको क्वेश्चन का मिल ही गया था. तो ये भी एक एक्सपीरियंस उन्होंने बताया. तो आई एम वेरी हैप्पी कि वी हैव सच पीपल coming to address us, guys. I hope that you have made most of this experience, and of course the seminar continues, and you know that we have satsang at 6:30 meditation, sir. So we of course invite you all to join meditation, and also the guests that we have, they've already had sittings in the day, so it's wonderful and very happy to meditate all together, which is, I guess, the bottom line of it all. So thank you very much, guys. You can have a break and be here sharp before, at least 10 minutes before, so that we can quickly sit down and settle back in. NSS and NYKS, could you sit in the front chairs? We'll keep 2 rows of chairs for you, okay, so that you don't have to sit on the floor. Thank you so much. See you before 6:30 for the meditation.